Last time we made this giant windmill that basically takes the wheat and triples it by crushing it into wheat flour that I can smelt into tons of bread. But bread isn't cutting it anymore and we need a new source of food. So we're gonna make a functional but cozy farm to solve that. Now you may have noticed that there's a lot of trees missing, and that's because I spent like 4 hours clearing them all out. Now to start today off, we do need to do a bunch of terraforming. Basically, I'm going to come and cover this entire area. I'm going to redo the cliff edge here. I'm going to flatten this all out a bit. Then I was thinking this farm right here extends out just a little bit too far. So I'm going to push this forward and make the farm a little bit smaller. But I think that's the plan. So let's go ahead and get to it. Alright, so we're starting by mining out a bunch of the areas so we have a bunch more room to work with. Then I started terraforming outlines of the cliff I want in my area in order to help tie everything together. I'm not trying to go too crazy with the terraforming, but I'm trying to make it almost vanilla plus feeling. And to finish it off, we're pushing the windmill's wheat field forward in order to make it a bit smaller with another cliff face, and we're placing tons of grass to give us tons of areas to build on later. Alright, and we went ahead and finished most of the terraforming, so I have these big paths kind of laid out everywhere, and this is what we're going to be doing next. I'm going to be filling all of these in with a bunch of different path blocks, just like the path over here. That's actually why we have a big empty hole right here. I'm going to have stairs going up here, connecting that up. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how the terraforming looks so far. I went ahead and terraformed this entire cliff edge right here and made it look really, really nice. Then I went ahead and pushed this forward and pushed this hill back, so we have a lot of room up here to work in the future. And I even pushed up and flattened the area up here. But mainly right here, the square is where the barn is going to be going. And right over here next to this path is where 2 nice big wheat silos are going to be built. Alright, so we're flying over to the azalea trees because under them there is tons of root dirt that we can use for a path. Then we're going to go ahead and fly home and start making a bunch of coarse dirt with gravel and dirt. And then we're going to go and grab all the gravel in our chests in order to use that for the paths. Alright, so for building these paths, I'm going to go ahead and place down just all the rooted dirt, all the gravel, and all the coarse dirt. Then I'm going to come back in after and place in dirt and turn it into path blocks. It's just a bit easier to do than placing down path blocks. Then we're going to go ahead and get a bunch of spruce in order to kind of smooth out the transitions in the paths to make them a bit easier to walk through and a bit nicer to look at. Then we're going to go and finish it off by placing a staircase up the mountain that way so we can get up there easily. Alright, so we did go ahead and finish all of the paths. Now, if you noticed, there is a bunch of spruce slabs in the ground. Right here is where we're going to put a big farm. These are just like little sub paths that are just like only in the farm. And here I'm going to be growing like, I think onions, carrots, potatoes, and lettuce, I think. But I'm going to be growing all of those because we're going to be making a new food. And the new food we're going to be making is roast chicken, which needs all of these things. We already have the bread production. Inside the barn, we're actually going to be mass producing eggs. But basically, one of these roast chickens give me like 4 or 5 of the actual roast chicken plates, and they are the absolute best food that we have. But our next step in the process is going ahead and getting down all of the buildings. So we're going to be building a nice big red barn right here. And over here, we're going to have 2 grain silos. And I think we're actually going to make it so we can store any of the crops in the grain silos. Alright, so in order to get that, we do actually have to go find a mangrove biome. Oh, I think that's a mangrove? Why is it so small? What? Oh, okay, wait, I think I see more trees that way. Okay. Look how small this one is, though. It's like a microbiome. Alright, it's big enough, though. It's fine. We just need a bunch of trees and mud from here, so see if we can get that. Now, I'm wondering if the create saw works on these. Let's go to mine all of these low blocks and just leave them 1. I'm not really sure if this works. Oh, it looks like it did. That's awesome. Okay. Well, we're just gonna get a bunch of this mangrove wood then. Okay, I think I just found a huge mangrove biome. This is much better than the other one I found. Now, we have this one mod in here where these little frog dudes spawn. I'm wondering if they're gonna be in the swamp. This is a pretty big one, so hopefully. Oh! I think that's one of their villages. Wow, it's actually sick. They're playing music. Hold on, I need to land. I need to land. Look at that! That is awesome. That is just awesome. What kind of stuff do they have in these houses? A whole lot of nothing. Okay, I actually want to steal one of these. I'm gonna take this guy. Okay, so now that I went ahead and right-clicked it, the Soul Pearl, I should be able to teleport him back home later once we get back to the house. Alright, so I went ahead and come back to this village because I couldn't use the Soul Pearls on these guys, and I'm gonna see if I can just push them directly into the boat. Oh, I think I got him. Okay. Okay, so we went ahead and got these frog dudes, or one of them at least. And I also went ahead and made a checklist for everything we need. This is just for the barn. This is everything we need for the barn. Tons of crap. But we need at least 3 stacks of mangrove planks and 5 stacks of stripped mangrove logs. So I'm going to go ahead and continue getting some more of that, and we'll be back when we have everything that we need for the barn. Okay, and we are back. I did go ahead and steal this guy because I want him to live in my little house area. Let's see if we can get him out. Break that. I'm hoping he just stays here. I'm not sure if he'll run away, but I guess we'll see. And if he does, I'll just go get some more. But I kind of want to have a bunch of these guys just all around my base, just like in little spots around here. I think it'd be really cool. But let me know what we should name him in the comments, because we do probably need to name him. But I did go ahead and get most of the blocks that we did need for the barn. A bunch of red terracotta, a bunch of mangrove logs. I'm going to go ahead and turn these into its respective blocks for the barn. And I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of the blocks, like just some of the random little blocks that we need for the barn. Then when I'm back, we should have everything in a chest. So I head over to my friend's base and trade some diamonds for some stacks of red terracotta. Then I go ahead and throw all my mangrove and all of my spruce logs into the sawmill in order to strip them. Then I go ahead and take all of my spruce and turn it into signs, buttons, fences, and a bunch of other different items. Okay, and we are back. So I think we have all of the blocks that we need in order to build this in its entirety. It's a lot of weird blocks. They weren't really too difficult to get. I think the hardest thing to get was all the mud bricks, just because I had to combine it with the wheat. It was really annoying. But just here in a second, I think I'm going to go ahead and place down this entire farm building and get it all furnished inside. And we're going to do a time lapse of that. Alright, so you might see me like going around by hand first, but then I got on the gyrocopter and started like flying around it to build it. It made it a lot easier. But for the walls of this, I did try making them look weathered by using like strips of like planks and other blocks, but I think it did turn out pretty well in the end. Alright, and I'm pretty happy with how this barn turned out, to be honest. I really like how these walls look. I tried keeping it really simple by keeping it more flat. And I tried mainly focusing on using like texture to bring out all of like the feel of the barn. I'm hoping it looks more weathered. I tried putting in some like granite patches up there to make it feel like the roof's kind of falling apart a little bit. And I tried making this look really like weathered and like water damaged. For the front here and for all the windows, I use these little birch blocks right there. I think they're actually called, let's see, parapets. It's a modded block I have, and I think it really helps like outline the windows. And for this window, I kind of did the same thing. I used the trap doors and framed it with the parapets. I think it looks really good with it, honestly. I really like how those windows look. And the actual window blocks, that's Macaw's windows if you're wondering. And for the entrance here, we just got levers with like chains. I think they look like really big handles. I really like how it looks. And then inside we have 2 ladders going up on each side, just so we can get up here. This is actually how you access the chicken farm that we're going to have in here. We have one on each side here. But if we come down here, I'm planning on putting animals in. I don't really think I can put any on these side ones because of the ladder. But over here, I'm thinking about maybe putting like sheep. Maybe not sheep, but I'm thinking about putting cows here and like pigs and any other animal that we get. Then these are the 2 chicken farms. I'm hoping that we can get a bunch of chicken in here because we do need it for the roast chicken. We need cooked chicken and eggs. So I might just like turn off the killing part of the farm for a while we need the eggs. Then in both the corners back here, I'm going to be putting in horses because I do think I want to use horses to traverse my world. Until we get trains, that is. Then on the side over here, we actually have a sheep farm I'm going to be putting in. I'm just going to fill it up with a bunch of sheep because I think for the future we are going to need a lot of different wool types, but for now I think I'm just going to fill it up with just tons of different colors of sheep. And we did end up having like a lot of leftover blocks. You can see that there's just a ridiculous amount of blocks left over here. The last couple things we need to do, well, major things at least, we need to put in a farm going right here. It'll come all around here and just kind of like be right in front of the barn here. And then we also need to come over here and put in the 2 grain silos. So I think I'm just going to cut straight to me building those then. So we start by building the base of the silos, then using the drone to build the rest. I go ahead and set up the crop storage inside, then I go ahead and finish off the roofs. After that, I'm just going around and building a few rocks and trees to breathe some life in the build. I think I was able to make this look really cozy, but let me know what you think of this little farm. Alright, so we did go ahead and finish the barn. I'm really liking how it turned out. I placed a bunch of these trees everywhere, a bunch of rocks, and I tried making it so... I've been trying to build my builds to be like it's framed. So I really wanted to be able to see these windows in the silos from here, and I think I did a decent job at doing that. Now you might notice there's a farm here, and I did not show that in the time lapse. The replay corrupted. I don't know what happened, to be honest. But we do have a farm here with, I think these are onions, potatoes, carrots, and cabbage. Everything we need in order to make the roast chicken that we're going to be trying to mass produce now. And I went ahead and set up a couple of these guys in order to farm for us. They don't actually do anything, it's just armor stands. I can move their like heads around and whatnot just with these sliders. I think they're pretty useful. It's pretty cool. Now, if we come over this way to the silos, we can actually interact with these silos like I was saying before. So, for example, this one, I'm just going to go and put a diamond in here. That'll take my diamond, and using a fan underneath, it'll shoot it all the way up through the hopper, or what's this, a chute? It'll shoot it all the way up through the chutes. Then I come over here and come inside of the silo. You can actually see there is a big item vault in here. And everything comes up and through and back down into the item vault and gets stored in here. Here we're going to store all of the crops from the farm. You can see I already have a bunch of crops in there, but my diamond should come out last. There we go. And no, I'm not just going to keep placing a funnel here to get all the items out. I'm going to hook it up to a central storage system later, but I haven't gotten around to building that just yet. Alright, then last we have the barn. It's completely finished. I went ahead and threw a couple of pigs in here and a couple of cows. I'm going to be breeding these and farming them. Then we have both of the chicken farms completely filled with chickens. Now, they have produced us a ton of chicken. It's going to be really useful in order to make a bunch of these roast chickens, which I'm just going to go ahead and take a stack just in case. Man, we should probably go ahead and light this up. I'm wanting to get some frog lights and some like moss carpets, but we don't really have access to those just yet. Okay, in order to craft the roast chickens, we actually do need to go ahead and bake these potatoes. I'm just going to do it really quickly by using this encased fan. I'm just going to place it down there and a campfire in front of it. And I think I should be able to place a hand crank right there. And let's get a block to block it. Throw all the baked potatoes on the floor. And this should turn them all into baked potatoes. There we go, we got a bunch of baked potatoes. Okay, I did have to wait a little bit for eggs, but we should be able to make a bunch of these now. Just grab some bread and make a bunch. Oh, wow. Okay, we can't even hold them all. Let's just place them all out on the floor. Yeah, this is a lot. Okay, I wonder how many we get from this. So we get 4 from each. So let's just go ahead and fill all of these up. Oh, it only holds in stacks of 16 though. Alright, just from that, we ended up getting 5 stacks of this roast chicken, which is pretty good to be honest. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and empty most of our inventory in here. I think we are going to go ahead and set up a little shop on the mushroom island for these roast chicken. So in here we got everything we need, so let's just go ahead and grab all of that. And let's head to the island real quick. Alright, and we are on the mushroom island. So basically, we are setting up a shop. for the 4 to 5 other members that play on the server. And we're going to be trying to sell these roast chickens, stacks of 16 for about 4 diamonds each, I'm thinking. I think that's a good price at least. So with the crate mod, we can actually set up a little shop by placing down these vaults. And I think what we got to do is let's place a seat in front of it, the stock ticker next to that. Then I think we need a packager. Actually, let's set him to the side instead. So let's put this guy here, this here. Then let's put the packager in the front so people can just grab all their items out of that. Then I captured a chicken with supplementaries in order to be our shopkeeper. There we go. And we can access and put items in here of this item hatch. So we're just going to put this in the back. Then we need a stock link, and we need to right click this on the stock ticker and then place this on here. Now it should all be connected. Now if I open this, yep, we have an inventory here. Now what we're going to do is set up a little shop. I'm thinking let's use the fence. Let's make some spruce slabs to cover him from the rain. Okay, so all we need to do in order to bind this red shop cloth to this guy, first we got to go ahead and give him all of our chicken. Let's just go ahead and put these into the vault in the back. Now, I did eat one on the way here, so we're not going to sell that one. But we went ahead and put 4 stacks in there. Then we go ahead and right click him with this. And we want to sell 16 chicken at a time, and we're going to configure the shop cloth, place it down, and we want to do diamonds, and we want to take 4 diamonds from people. So let's just bring this down to 1 for the example. So say I'm coming to the shop to buy food, I had to right click on this, give it to the chicken, it'd take my diamond, and it would give me the plates of roast chicken. We can go ahead and take out our diamond, and we can go ahead and lock this network actually, so no other player can access it but us, and go ahead and put that back in there. So now if anyone wants to come buy anything from us, they can come over here to this little pop-up shop, right click this, give it to the chicken, we get the diamonds, and they get their food. So I think that's everything that we need to do. Alright, now that that's all done, next time we'll come back and see how many diamonds we got. I'm hoping we get a good few because I'm pretty broke when it comes to diamonds. But I think that's just about everything we're going to go ahead and do today. If you liked the video, go ahead and like and subscribe. And hit the little bell for notifications. And stay tuned for next time. Peace.